Thanks for staying with us. So we're moving to our hot topic of today. A story online that we saw about an 18-year-old girl who was allegedly dating a 27-year-old young man. According to her, they had started dating when she was about 16 and gave her about ₦1 million. And then also she said that the man gives her family money regularly. According to her, she said she can't even count how much money the man has given her family. And they've been dating since she was 16. Now, this is the reality a lot of young teenagers are facing out there. The reason why this story caught our attention is because it's becoming an epidemic where young girls see that they need to date older men to help them help with their family. And parents seem to be okay allowing their teenage daughters date all sorts of people because of the financial support they get from these relationships. What are your thoughts on this? Obviously, we all agree that these are immoral behavior. However, the fact that it's become so much more prevalent in today's times is the conversation. Even the confidence and the audacity, a young girl will tell you, yes, I'm dating 25, I'm dating a 35-year-old man, big deal. How do we, therefore, begin to retrace our steps in how to fix this going forward? That's our conversation this morning. You can join the conversation by calling us 081-0764-1679, 090-241-63440. You can also tweet us at TVC Connect. Please hashtag YourViewTVC so we can read your tweets. You know, when I read this story, what came to mind was many years ago when I was a very shielded young girl. And there was a girl, I think her name was Fatima. Fatima was, we were both like 17-ish. And she was dating somebody who just finished in the university. And he was really giving her lots of money. Now, she was one of those who were raised by a single mother, and her father was in jail and stuff like that. So she had really tough issues. She had daddy issues. So this young guy was now practically feeding her mother. Her mother had her when she was very young. Her mother was about maybe 14 or 15. So she and her mother, like, they were really hustling. And it was quite interesting how she was depending on this guy. And it wasn't a big deal. In their society in the US then, it wasn't a big deal. If, I mean, hey, you're supporting my family. Yeah. And the guy felt like it was his responsibility to support. Wow. And it was normal. But now, flashback is coming back, and I'm thinking, to us, it's still very weird for a young girl.
Weird for you.
It's weird for some of us to be seeing it, that how can you be depending on, how can you be dating a 27-year-old if you're a 16-year-old? That for us is still weird, and in society, it's okay. What are your thoughts on it when it came to you? How do we even get here? I hate asking that question.
No, I don't.
How do we get here?
Surprisingly,
because we know how we got here.
It does not feel so weird to me. Oh. It doesn't even feel wrong to me. Because there's just 9 years between them, and there's 10 years between me and my husband. So really, I don't even see
but you didn't get married at 16.
Yes, I did not see what the drama really is about. Because she's 16 when she met a 25-year-old. Okay. They're both young. It's 9-year gap, they're both young. And at 16, you can, while you might not be able to, you might regret some choices you make at 16, if you have the maturity, you can actually make an informed decision at 16. Besides, every movie we watch as young children, especially for women, every romantic novel we read as young girls, what we see is, he comes, a knight in shining armor, he sweeps me off my feet, takes care of my needs, pays all my bills, and I'm dressed, sleeping happily ever after. So why are we surprised that the young girls now don't expect somebody who would sweep and take care of her needs? We've watched Cinderella's story. What's the difference? What's the difference between Sleeping Beauty is even a princess? What's this other cartoon?
Snow White.
Snow White is a princess. The Cinderella. In Cinderella. Yeah. Cinderella was a poor girl. We always see poor girls get taken by a big man who come and change their life. So everybody is hoping that somebody big will come and change my life. And I was brought up to think it is wrong. So when I had proposition with people that had money, I would run away from them, and I feel like I suffered unnecessarily. I'm happily married, by the way, but a lot of my girlfriends at that time, age mates, I like ahead of them, and they enjoyed the perks of life a bit earlier than I did because of the hustle that the guy had made to bring them comfort. It is if the lady is feeling entitled to the fact that you must take care of my entire family as a responsibility, I feel wrong with entitlement. I do not agree with entitlement, but I don't think there's anything wrong with a woman enjoying being taken care of by...
At 16.
Yes.
16.
So I like how I like where you went to. Yeah, I like where you went to. And that has been the reality for so many people, right? It was just a few of us, Mariah, they almost the same category that like our age mates or our age grade. Yeah. And, growing up, many people I knew always, wanted somebody that was way older than them because they see the person to have the ability to take care of them. But where I wanted to start was, looking at it from the failure of parenting in a way that a 16-year-old should still be on that, like in our culture here, because we don't have a culture of working our children, right? They should still be under the care of their parents, where their parents do their best to provide at least their basic needs. So you have money for your undies, you have money for your hair, you have just small things, have allowance for the week and all of that, so that you can buy some of the things you need as a young girl. Now, what I see is that most of the time, some parents they do not have the culture of providing for their daughters. And now these daughters go out into the streets hunting for any man who can provide for them. And once I've seen people who negotiated, I will date you if you can buy my jump form. That's how bad it got, yes, growing up. I will date you if you can pay for my WAEC. I will date you if you can buy me soap and cream regularly. Some of those things that the parents should be able to cater for, at least to a level. We're not saying you must be rich to be able to care for your children in certain ways. It's just about the care. Now, I also noticed that there's another epidemic for most of these parents who are caught up in this web, who are not working. So I have a couple of young girls around me, and the way they were hustling, I had to ask, what do your parents do? Because I passed through this level, right? And I had a hustling spirit naturally. I loved hard work and everything I hustled and did was from the comfort of my father's house, where I would fry, because I didn't want to be idle, I'll fry chin-chin, I'll put it, there's a shop in front of my father's house, I'll put there, I'll bake cake, I'll put there, just let me just be doing other things. But I was not out in the streets hustling and sending money home. So I had to ask them. I said, please, what does your father do? He said, nothing. What does your mother do? Nothing. So these full-grown parents wake up in the morning, sitting down at home. They're not doing anything. This particular family had about 3 girls. And it's the girls that are hustling in the streets and sending money home. It's painful. That's the angle I want to look at it for. I don't have an issue with anybody who wants to date an older person. All of us have different preferences. I've heard young girls who say, I prefer way older men, and it's okay, right? But the fact that the parents have deliberately failed in their duties. We're not saying you must be rich to be able to take care of your daughters. You should be able to work and set the examples of work for these people. How do you stay morning till night? Nothing. This child sees you that you don't do anything, and then you are demanding, and they will not only care for you, you will still collect money from them to pay tithes and offering, and you're not asking questions, where is this money coming from? So that's what we need to tackle. The decadence in the society, to the extent that as you are giving birth to these girls, you are waiting for them to get to a certain age where they start taking care of you. There's a time for children to take care of their parents. When they become adults, they are now working. Of course, they will take care of their parents, but at that early age, putting the burden on those children is too much. Growing up in the universities, we had girls who, thankfully, there were 2 sides to it. There were girls who now decided to enter runs because they had to take care of themselves and send money home. There were other girls who started doing crafts, who could make hair and all of that, so that but I know the burden. When this girl is supposed to be reading, she's plaiting hair because her mother has not eaten, her father has not eaten. But, but the reality is, there's poverty in the land.
16 years.
We'll come to the 16-year-old. We'll come to the 16 or 18. Okay, she started dating at 16. Now she's 18. But the point which BC had raised, there is poverty in the land. There are people who lost their jobs by no fault of theirs. Their businesses went down, and they are just dependent. We have that mentality that my children will take care of me. That the reason why I struggled and hustled to get you to university is so that somehow you can able to. I mean, that was the mentality we grew up with. Now we're trying to change that narrative. But whether we like it or not, some people are still within that framework to say, okay, my child, take care of me. So
from 14,
whether we like it or not, there are poor people who don't have anything.
From 14, you should be hustling, but
that's the mentality I'm saying.
Okay,
but your own children are 14, at least hustling. Our children are going to be hustling at 14. We want the life to be better for our children.
I'm trying to even process it in the sense that I have a 16-year-old girl in the house. I'm just imagining the idea that she has gone out, she's dating one guy and bringing money to you. Am I sitting down and doing? what am I doing at that age? She's still a baby. Yeah. If you see the way she behaves, she still plays with dolls and all of these things. Then you will not come and tell me that she should.
True, you have a 16-year-old.
She still plays with dolls. If you see her bed, she has all different types of with different names and all. Then you are now telling me that she's dating somebody. Right. And I'm comfortable with the fact that she's dating someone.
But the best strokes for the
getting money and bringing
wrong in the
there's something wrong.
Historically, a 15-year-old woman is a woman in historic terms, and she can run a home. She's brought up that way. There's some people that are 17, 18, and they're still babies. And there are some 17, 18 that if you stand by them as a 40-year-old, they've seen more of life than you as a 40-year-old. And they can educate you. It is just a case of having the maturity to handle what is not. You don't choose what happens to you. As you don't choose your parents. You don't choose your reality. What you do is make the best out of what has happened to you. So I of course, I don't support the underage relationships. Let me just put that out there. But I'm not going to sit down here and behave like it does not happen. Hello, as at when I was 13, I had a girlfriend. I had a female classmate that was already in a relationship at 13. There are many. Even as at this 15, 16 we're talking about, somebody, a family friend said she just picked up she just felt her spirit. She felt the Holy Spirit pain that she picked up her son's phone and checked the chat and saw a chat from a girl that is 16 saying that you cannot be 15. You're so handsome, you cannot be 15. I'm just a few months older than you. What do you think about a girlfriend? The girl is 16.
She's shooting her shot.
The boy exactly.
This woman had sheltered her children. She has 3 boys like me, so we had conversation, and she was like, they met at a cousin's house. So she's they're all age group. You feel they're all okay. It's a lie. People have exposure that you have no idea about, and the public can handle it. Doesn't mean it is right, but we must acknowledge that conversation and give room. So with this girl at 16, meeting and dating someone that is 25, as long as the financial benefit she's getting for family is not transactional, I do not feel there's an... If it is not transactional, meaning that I'm not saying, oh, come to my house, cook and sleep with me.
It's transactional.
Love is giving.
The guy's paying for
something. He's paying for something and there's something going on.
And I wait. When I was really young, my parents used to we had shops among Igbo people. Igbos would look at a girl at 15 and they will be grooming. There's nothing will happen, but they will take care of the girl till like 18, 21 and marry the girl. All the investment of the previous year is just because I will marry this girl. No, so let's not make it look like this is one size fits all. She's doing the other room to get money. No, it might not be.
Let me take this call from Otikili. Good morning. Thanks for calling. Good morning. You're live.
Okay.
Don't listen to the TV. You're live. Go ahead. I can hear you. I have to disconnect that call. You see, you're going to say something.
Yes, I'm trying to remember what I wanted to say. So, the mindset is where the problem is, right? There's no issue in dating very young. Yes, I now remember what I wanted to say. We need to be very careful as parents so that we don't take away the innocence of our children.
That's it.
A lot of children mature way before they are ready to mature in that level because of what life has given to them. Now, the conversation is you, the parents, do not contribute to the life that will deal with your children. So give them that maturity before their time, right? So on a normal day, when you have a normal family and you have normal kids, there's a certain way these young children behave because they're still, aside from the protection, they're still very innocent. So their conversations, even when they're dating, their conversations they will have with their boyfriends, you know, that is just a normal conversation. There's, you know, my father's church at the time, from 16, you are allowed to date. And that dating is you hang out with supervision, you go to maybe eateries and stuff, everybody sits down, you gist, you just get to know one another. From time to time, they do church programs where they bring all the young children and everybody, okay, I'm dating this person. In fact, you're allowed to date more than one person, so that you know their character and everything. But those sort of conversations we have are just for friendship. You know, for that connect, I want to understand this person, I like this person, okay, and all of that. And it's beyond that. Now, when a very young woman, young child, now starts having conversation of, you have to do this for my mother. You have to do this for my father. We have to pay school fees for my brother. That's where, no, it's not entitlement. She needs it. There's nothing entitled about it. She needs it. The brother may be kicked out of school because there's no school fees. And she has a man.
That's where the idea.
Yes, and she has a man that she's dating that is working. She will not ask. She will ask. So do not put deliberately, like I said, put your children in that position where they are making those very adultish decisions and choices.
Of course,
and giving something, because at that age, there's nobody, trust me, Nigerian man, that will date you, 16 years.
At that 16 years,
and be paying, calm down, and be paying bill for all your family member and will not collect.
No, he might not collect, I'm telling you.
Stop it, please, those Igbo people that you mentioned, calm down, no. Those Igbo people that you mentioned, they used to collect. Which future? They collect now.
No, not necessarily.
I'm an Igbo person. I grew up in that place.
Not necessarily.
I grew up in that place. And I had friends growing up in secondary school that were in the mix of this. They were collecting. The only thing is, you are my wife. Please, let's be real.
Not all.
Let's be realistic.
Okay,
Nigerian man just they put money like that, you know they collect.
He's investing. He's investing. It's an investment.
That's why people cry.
Have you realized?
They cry.
Yes, now.
That's why they cry when the girl. I say I sent you to school.
They can cry.
I sent you to school. I've taken care of you and your entire family.
Yes. It's the money.
And then you now go and marry somebody else and say I have access.
It's the money they spend. They are crying for, not the collecting, because the money they were spending and collecting was for the future. So I'm collecting for life, but then you truncate it and now we cry. Please.
You guys,
so is the mind, let me land my thoughts. Let me land my thoughts.
No.
So it's that mindset that is warped, which we are trying to get parents to understand, that to a certain level, you know, back in the days when they used to marry off, you leave the house, you become the responsibility of the man, and the man keeps you at home and he can do anything at any age, and you now quickly grow up to be able, in fact, you are groomed to handle a house at that age. A lot of people are thrown into that because life happened to them and their parents were not responsible enough to just show up the gap for them. That's what I'm talking about. Parents, please do work.
At 16. Well, have a wait, let me pause you, Ramata. I'll come to you. Good morning. Thanks for calling. I have a call from Abuja. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes.
Well done. You say good morning to you. And I really enjoy the discussion on the program today. My take on it actually is we have to realize that we are Africans. And, you know, all these, how would I call it, I mean, the new inventions from the European world that make us forget actually what we are or who we are. I don't see this as a big deal. Just like one of you mentioned that she has like 10 years interval between her husband and herself. Myself, I'm the same case. And, you know, development is not by age. We have to consider who is talking, who the matter is about, before we, deliberate on this matter.
Right. Okay.
There are people of 25 that are not even matured up to somebody that is 15 years. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And I don't think a child of 16, 25 is too small. You understand?
To marry.
To be into a relationship.
Okay.
Although the 16 one, that girl of 16 years, I also accept that she's too little, but it depends on her level of maturity.
Interesting. Thank you. 16.
At 16, you should be engaged, doing something that will make you, make your life meaningful. It's not for you to be doing. Yes, at 16, it's a baby. It's not. You should be doing something meaningful. And I'm just even bothered about the parents that are comfortable. Yes. Because this one that made this video, the girl is dating. She's not even married. Because we in my place, we marry early. Do you understand? If you are in your husband's house, it's a different case. But you are dating at 16. I'm just comfortable.
Can I ask you guys,
with the fact that the parents are okay with it.
I can ask you guys this, and it's a very personal question I'm asking on national TV. Okay. When was your very first kiss? Was it not 15, 16?
No, it wasn't 16. Yeah, no. In our calculation, my own calculation, it was wait till 18. Don't do anything, don't date. Yes, we waited till, I waited till 18 because I was just like, and I had plenty toasting. Okay. When I was 16, a man actually asked me out, and he was like a full-grown adult. And when we had the conversation, I was like, you are twice my age. That was the word, because I can never forget it. I'm like, you're exactly twice my age.
Okay.
Like 16 times 2. You are 32.
Right.
I cannot, it can't correlate.
Right.
But it was easy for, he didn't know I was 16. He told me his age thinking like I was in my 20s because I looked like this right from then. So for some people, many people were arguing with me as that when I was 21, that I was older. Even as at 18, they felt like I was lying about my age. Some people till today believe I'm over 40, that I'm lying about my age. So the thing about life is some people, based on their physiology, they look more mature. Compared to, I have a lady in my office, even my kids were like, how come she's working? Shouldn't she be in school? I said, no, she's in her mid-20s, but she's so petite and tiny. Yeah. I'm sure when she was 16, nobody would even look at her thinking about the same thing.
Very small.
Auntie, answer my question.
When I finished secondary school, yes, 17.
17, wow. When was your first kiss?
Me, I think 20-something.
Wow, damn.
20.
Why? That was not a good one.
But it wasn't, maybe we didn't even have that deep kiss.
No, it's not saying.
Like my first was 15.
Okay. You know,
and I remember. No. I mean, I remember exactly where it happened and who it happened with. Exactly. Like it was such a really soulful, like.
Oh wow.
It was. I remember that very first.
I had a boyfriend already, and it
was a downstairs staircase of my mom's sister's house. That has a house there. The landing was on my way to the airport. I was going back, and this guy, I know him very well, and he was like that kiss to say, okay, you're leaving, I might not see you again, and I got that really, I can still even almost remember it.
Wow.
It was linked to my trip, because I remember it.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying that. So when you're talking, I was thinking to myself that 15, 16, your kids are. So there's no way that you don't meet somebody that wants to, but you also have to set those boundaries.
Yes, but
so
an
that comes to
innocent
training.
Kiss is an innocent kiss. At least you get to that age where your body is raging and you can't understand yourself and people are liking you. And it was after secondary school for the first time that I was told I was fine. All the while in secondary school, I felt I was ugly. They were yabbing me back, left. And the first day I entered jam lesson, 2 boys fought for me. First day. I was like this. I was not selecting boyfriends. I went to Lagos as well to register for another exam when I moved to Lagos. 2 boys fought for me, Ayo and Leko. I will never forget.
So I want to also bring that up because there are some parents that are listening to us, and their 16-year-olds are probably in that state, and they feel like the world has. We're very religious now. Compared to them, we're still on the verge. Right now, people are totally against their teenagers having those kind of emotions, or having boyfriends, or having, because they all pretend like they never had that situation in their own life. So it's important that we face these conversations, because whether we like it or not, these teenagers, as young as 14, 15, some of them are dating. Their counterparts, you carry them to summer all the time, and their cousins are there, 14, having boyfriends, and they're wondering, so you're allowed to have boyfriend? Yeah. We are not allowed, though. No. Those kind of comparisons. So sometimes you need to open conversations so young people know what the options are and are able to choose.
And while that is really strong, the other side of dating older, for me, as I started I opened my studio at 21. Like, I had a makeup studio that I opened at 21, which was when I met my husband. And we were not even dating. It was a case of, when I'm talking to somebody, when I was 21, talking to a 21-year-old was very, very... The conversation was not rich. See, me, I wanted to make money. I wanted to do business.
Yeah, I've grown your mate.
Yeah, so I could not relate. And I was very into politics, into whatever is going on in the news, social issues. I would argue, as in a relationship with my husband, I would argue with his age mate at that time, and we were discussing politics, and I would be opinionated. So it was, people didn't believe I was even, when we got married, they didn't believe I was 25. They felt I was older because I would voice my opinion easily. So it was a case of the level of maturity that I had. I could not even relate with people that were like close to me age. So sometimes you need, when we make this blanket statement like, oh, how can you date somebody that is 5 years? How can you be like 10 years older than you? What were you thinking? The age gap, all of that. No. We also need to give room for the different personalities involved in the relationship.
At the age of 16.
That's what really young. After maybe when you're like 23, so and then you meet somebody that is 30.
You might see him at 16. Have the boundaries. We're not asking, don't engage. Don't engage.
I agree.
When you are not adult, then. So that's what we're trying to say here. But let me take this call. Let me take this call. Olakunle, thanks for calling. You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning, sir.
All the beautiful ladies there. This is a very interesting topic this morning. And you know, what I just want to say is there's this saying that different strokes for different folks.
Yeah.
You know, this is a kind of conversation that will not lead to general consensus. People will not be able to agree on a particular ground. And the reason is because different people will look at it from where life has put them. I like what one of our madams said there, that she has a 16-year-old girl who's still playing with dogs. I have my own 16-year-old girl that doesn't even know how to go to the road on her own because of where life has put her. But when I was at her age, I go to school myself and all of that. So she doesn't have the kind of maturity to even wash plates and cook egg well. So for her to now begin to talk about dating, but then you now have some people where life has put them. A 16-year-old is already taking the responsibility of a 25-year-old person.
Yeah.
If you come down north, if you go to Kano, if you go, the kind of life there is different from the life that you people live in Lagos. So based on that, however, every family now should be more concerned about the 1 million that is coming to them. Where is it coming from? Where is that guy getting that money? A 25-year-old guy should be thinking about to build a future and to help his own family. Why is he getting all that kind of money? This is getting it legitimate well, and then too, are they ready to pay back if anything happens along the line?
Thank you very much. You know, I just remember the story while he was talking of someone. I'll come to your matter. A young lady, she was a help in a family, right? And she, as a help in that family, she was brought to that family as a young child. Now, one of the cousins of her, the people she's taking care of, took a liking to her. So she met, I think, I'm not sure the age, but I think it was about that 14, 15-ish. So she worked there now. She liked the guy liked her. He was just very kind to her. But eventually, they married, and they're still married to today. The point is that you can actually find, in our society,
you can find love there.
You can find love, you can even find help. You can find security at any age. It's the maturity of, okay, I need to leave this position, I need to move to this next phase of my life, and I'm ready. Now, he helped her family because her family was in abject poverty.
Wow.
So the person got her father a job, got her mother a job, got them a house. I mean, he really came in as a helper.
Help me.
Until tomorrow, they're still happily married. So the culture...
Kanunwako married his wife at 18.
Yes. So things are different around here. So we see people coming. Our own Knight and Shining Armor is not a guy in a horse. It's a guy who comes to come and rescue us from poverty. And has rescued our entire generation because now her generation has been rescued. So we see things are definitely different.
Yeah, but what I'm just trying to say is that for her at 16 and the guy is giving her money, there must be something that she's giving back in return.
How do you know that?
There must be something she's giving back.
It's not categorical.
In Nigeria here.
You don't know now.
He himself is not as if he's going to marry her.
It's an assumption.
They're having a relationship. It's different. I know of somebody that was 16 that she got married to the guy eventually. It was because her dad wasn't feeling well and they needed money for his hospital bills. He came as her helper. As a helper, and then he wanted to marry her. He said, okay, that if she marries him, he's going to pay the bills.
It's not easy being a man in this country. Except stealing money.
But this one...
You don't just give money like that.
But it's love. 27. In my own case, they give people.
Even in the love, something must give. Something gives. It's just that everybody will not put their life out there for you to x-ray. But the close people I know that, okay, we collect. We may not collect anyhow because we are preserving you to be our wife. But you see that collecting, we're collecting. That's the way to show your own commitment too from what I'm giving. But that's beside the point. I wanted to say that, you know, it would be fools to think that our children are not having these emotions and they're not having these feelings. And we must begin to have that conversation with our children. We must be real with our children. There are some conversations I will not have now, but I'm happy my 15-year-old, we watch some movies together and we talk. And I sort of get her ideas on stuff. And I hear how she says some things. I'm like, okay, this girl's mind is going there. And I don't shut her off. I chip in too. Like, I'm a what's up, mommy. I still did it too. But, you know, because it's all their boundaries, you have to wait a certain time. And what I pay attention to for a woman is that your self-esteem, your self-respect. Yes. Even if you choose to do it, you must do it with the person that you are willing to give your all. So you're not jumping into situations because they are liking you and you're pretty and everybody's saying, hey, 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 and that, right? It must come from, you must be sure you are ready. Do not let anybody put you under pressure. I was put under pressure at that age. No, if you love me, you must do this. If you love me, you must do that. And a lot of girls find themselves in that situation where they are made, especially when you're dating a mature person who understands what he's doing, and you carry your 16-year-old brain to come and go there. Get into the relationship. They put some things on, right? If you, to show that you love me, I've mentioned here that somebody said I should come and do oaths. You know, I should take blood oaths. Thank God, I don't know what happened. My brain just did wah, 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 wah. In my head, I'm like, what if I don't like you tomorrow? And there was a possibility that I would not like you tomorrow. And that was exactly what happened. And I did not like him tomorrow. Imagine if I was not confident enough to say I'm not going to do a blood oath. Only God knows we are for day to day. So those conversations you must have. And stop pretending to your children that you have not done it. They are not fools. They know. Now, when you pretend to them that you didn't do this, so all of us married as virgins here by the grace of God, and they believe that they are just looking at you. There are conversations they will have with their friends that they will not have with you.
You cannot understand.
You will not know. You cannot understand. But if you open up at least to a certain age where they can understand that, okay, I went through this. I actually felt this way. I was heartbroken at this point. This and this and this is what when they have those issues, they come to you. Now, anything where you know, but I'm not talking for those people that are really poor, they cannot feed. But anything where you know, buy for your pikin, carry and come house. I bet ask them, where you for bring them come.
Let me take this call. Francesca, good morning. Thanks for calling. You're live. Thanks for calling. Hello. Okay, I think we lost that.
So, you know, Beece has spoken a lot about parenting, and I feel it's a blessing when you have parents that protected you. It's a huge blessing. It's a blessing when you have parents that will fight for you. It's a blessing when you have parents that would go all out to ensure that nothing happens to you. I know my mom quarreled with her friend when she found out that her friend knew I had a boyfriend, because, like, how can you know my daughter has a boyfriend and did not tell me? Was she like, you are not my friend? It was a...
No, but she wasn't your mom.
It was a serious fight. But I know that is a blessing because some other people don't have that. And since we are on the show to educate, it's important that we let people, when you don't shield and protect your children, you will carry the responsibility. And some children escape. They might get that exposure. They might not get pregnant and all of that. And you might have a child that get the exposure and the first time he just entered a Bele Strait or something even worse. Maybe they get like the young girl that was butchered in Port Harcourt. It was a case of money. She's a young girl. In her own case, she was dating a young boy, but the boy had money. The boy tried to use her for money rituals, and he was caught. And there are many girls like that that are at greed. Greed has led them into losing their lives into money rituals. And it just serves as a platform to remind people, especially when you cannot explain where the money is coming from, or you cannot, if a young person is giving you 1 million, what business is he doing and is able to afford that kind of money? Learn to question what is going on. Don't just say, because this is making my life comfortable at the moment, you just collect and go. Because sometimes when you turn the blind eye, you might become the person that will be blinded at the end of the day. So let's just put that out there as well.
Sure. Well, thank you. Any comments on social media as we wrap up?
Plenty.
Let's take a few for a wrap up.
So
they're arguing our virginity.
Hey, don't mind them. So someone was
all of you on that table. Yeah. Can you allow your children collect help from a guy without thinking something is fishy?
God forbid.
You should be realistic here.
No, of course. Who
are saying that we're privileged to be raising our children in this? We're saying that there are certain families where they desperately need that help. And we must also not judge them because of it. So obviously we're not asking you to put your child out there to come to a transactional relationship.
Business.
We don't want that. But we also understand that some people have been lifted out of poverty through those means. So we have to be very careful in how we judge people like that.
But I want children to be stubborn enough to say no to their parents.
Question
if your parents are putting you under pressure, I am not, you are the one to be responsible for me.
How many parents?
I'm saying children must become stubborn enough to say it.
In this culture where you're supposed to look down at your parents are talking to you.
That's why we're telling them on the show now. So based on this conversation, they can begin to be able to confront their parents and say, don't expect me to do this.
Our children don't even go out.
So I'm just saying some people, because I know of some families who have been through this kind of phase and it has helped them. I know others have made it worse.
Yeah.
So it depends. That's, I think, one of our callers said, it, that it depends on
different strokes for different folks.
You never really know which, but our own is to ensure that there's real maturity and children are able to ask questions. And if you don't feel comfortable doing that, absolutely don't be collecting money to give to your parents from a boyfriend. Any other comments on social media?
Yeah, Moses Ade said, marriage is about duty, responsibility, and honor, not love or I feel butterflies. And then Fiona says, some kids get exposed quite early. Just Reading said, when I'm 60, I'll still like to date a 25-year-old young lady because Mama don't retire by then, so that we can live long, make man no die. I think it was just put a laughing face there. So just for
angle. That's a topic on its own. For different day.
Please allow Ramatu to talk. Oh, they say we did not hear Ramatu, but she finally spoke now. So.
All right. I think that's all we can take on this. But really, the truth is that we don't. An underage is an underage.
Yep.
We must be responsible for the children we bring to this world, and I think it's only right for us to let children to mature before we start allowing them to date. And in situations where children start wanting to date, let's guide them and let's ensure that we're having the right conversations with them. But in this lady's case, it is totally unethical for a young child to have to date to collect money for their family. So the family's economic status, it's not right, and it's not doesn't speak well of the upbringing of that child. I think that's all we can take on this segment. We'll come back, move on to the next segment. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.